You're live. Hey guys, it's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another live commentary. This time you'll know what it is. It's a 2014 horror, I'll say, starring Lucas Till, Stephen McCadle, Merritt Patterson, and Jason Momoa. Yeah, he's indigenous, so that counts. Wolves. Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in a couple of months, so I wanted to rewatch it. So let's do this. It's about 90 minutes long, so yeah, 90 minutes. Catch Up Entertainment, the same people that did Superfast, but this is way better. It's actually a better movie. It's entertaining enough, and it got an R rating. Copper Heart Entertainment. Also, happy Columbus Day to you out there, and also happy Thanksgiving to people that in Canada that are celebrating that. Wolves. Still better than Twilight. Yeah, Lucas still has some nightmares in the beginning. Some practical effects here too. It's not just CGI werewolves for 90 minutes. There's some pretty decent, like makeup effects that Rick Baker would be proud of. If people say Lucas still can't act, yeah, he can. They just gave him the wrong scripts when they gave him like Monster Trucks and First Class, where he was barely in it. Hmm. First Class wasn't his fault. Mm-hmm. Good morning, John. This movie still holds up almost after a decade. Yeah, considering this movie was made 10 years ago, when Twilight was, it just ended, and werewolves are getting back into the mainstream because of Wolf Cop and this and that what was that TV show called? Teen Wolf. They did like a Teen Wolf TV show that was different from the movie. So the '80s film, I mean, not the Teen Wolf movie that came out I think earlier this year. Yeah, I know the feeling. My arms are sore. There's some Americanizable faces here. The major A-lister is Jason Momoa. This is what he did before Aquaman. He was finding his footing after Game of Thrones. So, yep, there's blood in this movie. A lot of it. A lot of gore. And unlike American Werewolf in London, this doesn't have a downbeat ending. Mm-hmm. Yep, he jumps. He's like he's like flying in the air. Spear. Yep, he's pummeling him. He crushed his helmet. Damn. He dented his helmet. That's usually what happens when a football player hits a car or something. And even the way this movie's shot, they actually have a tint that doesn't look like they're like these people don't get any sun. Asian girl. Nope, he's not in this movie. Just saying. Bosoms. She's grabbing his crotch. Mating season. He turns into a werewolf, yeah. There's an explanation for it later in the film. There's blood everywhere, yeah. Again, it's not a kid's movie. Look at that arm. Because considering the movies I sat through this year, like this horror movie is way better directed, is better acted, better written. Not a masterpiece by any thing. It's very cliche, but it's still better than any horror movie that came out this year that was, that had all this bad CGI, like The Nun 2 and all that. No. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like the Wolfman. Looks like he hasn't slept in days. Mm-hmm. There's some narration in the movie too, like I said, like Twilight, but it's not as boring. This is 90 minutes. See, you don't need a superhero movie to be 2 hours all the time. If you say that, that's a lie because the first Fantastic Four movie was under 2 hours when it first came out. The 2005 movie, it didn't need to be 2 hours. When they made the extended cut, I get why they added that, but again, not everything needs to be a. I've seen this guy before. Again, yeah, don't tempt him. These transformation scenes are really good too for a low budget. It's not just a bunch of CG. Yeah? Oh man, yep. This is how violent Deadpool 3 is going to be. I can feel it. They ain't going to be no Disney movie here. Oh no. If parents take their kids, they're like, "Hey, look, Wolverine's got yellow," and he's like slashing someone's throat off. Again, not a kids movie. Parents have to know what their kids can watch, the Mario movie, and what they can't watch, like Deadpool 3, John Wick, etc., or cartoons like Rick and Morty and Invincible. Not for kids, or Harley Quinn. So the Marvels is going to be an hour and 45 minutes. Why is that a problem? Studio mandates, if the studio really got involved, it would be 2.5 hours and there'd be like 30 extra minutes dedicated to Miss Marvel. We already got all these characters established in their own shows. Monica Rambeau was in the first movie and she was in WandaVision. She got enough development there. Brie got her own film and did Endgame, and Miss Marvel had her own show. What else do you want? Do you want 15 movies to set them up? You don't need too much backstory. You don't have to give a backstory for every character. Like the villain, I'm not going to care about even if she has 15 flashbacks. Spare me the long things, because I told Josh, every movie that came out this year, 90% of it was too long. You had Scream 6, that was like over 2 hours. Indiana Jones, that was 2 hours and 20. The Flash was 2 hours and 10. Spider-Verse was 2 hours and 15 minutes. Why are all these movies over 2 hours? They don't need to be. Meg 2 was an hour and 48 minutes, and it was fine. What else? Mission Impossible, 2.5 hours. Didn't need to be that long. Guardians 3, 2 hours and 19 minutes. You could trim these movies. They don't need to be a freaking novel. I can excuse a miniseries because that's on TV or streaming, but in the theater, I don't want to sit in the theater for 4 hours. Sorry. I went through Transformers Age of Extinction. I don't want to go through that again. Fast X, that's over 2 hours. When is it going to end? Is Wish going to be 2 hours? No. Make a movie bearable. An hour and 45 minutes is not the death of the MCU. I don't get it. I don't get why movies have to be so damn long. Or what about 3-hour movies like Killers of the Flower Moon? I'm not going to see that in the theater. It's a Western. Westerns should not be that long. It only gets the pass because Scorsese directed it, but his movies are too long. Like 90% of his films are over 3 hours, except for his early stuff like Mean Streets and The King of Comedy and all that. But everything after that, overly long. I'm sorry. You're not making art by leaving a shot for 5 minutes. No, move on. I have a condition, Josh. My attention needs to be on one thing, not 14 for 2 hours long. Sorry. Eros. Maybe because they don't want to put 45 characters in this Marvel movie. It's not a multiverse movie. Even that wasn't 2.5 hours. It's fine. That movie was supposed to be 2.5 hours, and they trimmed it to 2 hours. I was fine with it. Wanda got plenty of screen time, and Doctor Strange and America Chavez, who I didn't even want in the movie in the first place. But anyway, back to Wolves. This movie is 90 minutes. Not everything needs to be that short either, but when it's short, it's fine. That's what Broadway shows are for 2 hours or 3 hours. Some movies don't need to be that long. Because the last 2 Marvel movies in November were overly long, and they did not need to be that long. And Josh is like, "Oh, you trim this, and it'll be fine." Yeah, Eternals would have been way more bearable if it was an hour and 45 minutes. Not every movie needs to be Lord of the Rings, exactly, or The Hobbit, or Harry Potter, or the Star Wars movies. No, they could be short with their running time. In 2024, Hollywood needs to learn how to make films shorter. Yeah, less is more. Stop padding out the running time with 20 flashbacks and subplots that go absolutely nowhere. This movie doesn't have that. There's plenty of action. It's got a way faster pace than Twilight. Compare this to New Moon or Eclipse or the Breaking Dawn films. They're overly long, and they don't need to be. They don't. It's a movie. It's not a miniseries. Yeah, even an episode of Invincible is under an hour. You don't need it to be 2 hours. Or Stranger Things, when the last season was 2.5 hours for the last episode. Why are shows so long now? You don't have more to say. You have less to say. Sorry. Sometimes a movie needs to be long. Endgame was ending a franchise. That's why it was long. not because they threw in 45 characters in the first 10 minutes. There's some movies like Rise of Skywalker that could have been 2 hours. It didn't need to be 2 hours and 20 minutes because it's a fetch quest movie. So where's the development there? Just saying. That's becoming an issue with me. Every time we talk, we argue about running time. An hour and 105 minutes is not a mandate. That they want to make it shorter because if it bombs like the Flash, the MCU's in trouble. They got lucky with Guardians 3 because James Gunn came back. If Waititi did that movie, it would have been nothing but jokes. No emotional core with Rocket. No third act that was really, really, spot on. No, and the soundtrack would not be as good. Here we go. There's some things that need to be shorter now. There's Jason Momoa. He comes about 16 minutes in. He's the last one introduced. The last guy that's introduced. He basically looks like Aquaman if Aquaman was a werewolf instead of a man of the sea. Because I saw John Wick 4 and I'm like, it could have been 20 minutes shorter. It did not need to be that long. There's two subplots that could have been cut entirely. Hello, cutie pie. Sometimes a movie needs to be short. If it's a miniseries, I get why it's long. Like It from the 90s or The Odyssey or something like that, Or like the Langoliers. She looks like a Canadian, not Emily Blunt, Amelia Clark, except better looking and not a robot. There's the lead girl, yeah. Look at those eyes. I tell you, Josh, Merritt Patterson is a beautiful girl. And she has an original name, Merritt, not Marion. Like Merritt. With 2 R's and 2 T's. When Mario came out and it was 83 minutes long, that was perfect. If it was 2 hours or like an hour and 45 minutes, like the 90s film, no, there's the 90s film, as much as I enjoy it, there's subplots that could have been cut entirely or characters cut out. Just saying. Filler is not for movie theaters anymore. That's why movies are making less at the box office because films are just too damn long. I remember the movies last summer, and they were not all over 2 hours. They weren't. This girl looks like she could be Olivia Wilde's sister. I've seen movies with chicks and that are not as long as Twilight or whatever. I mean, look at Clueless. That's about an hour and 35 minutes. Short. Mean Girls. That's 90 minutes. It's not 2 hours long. Sometimes a movie just feels long. It's one of the reasons I didn't like Avatar. And I saw the theatrical cut. The extended cut is 3 hours and 15 minutes. It's way too long. It's better to do things faster. That means you don't have to sit and wait. Like, I don't like doing that. Cut it out. It's their holiday too. That's why I did this movie. Because she's Canadian and today is Thanksgiving in Canada. And I think Jason Momoa is Hawaiian, which I think those are indigenous people. Yeah, because they're people that have a tan. They're a mix of like Indian, like a Native American and like Polynesian, and Asian as well. You're beautiful. You're so beautiful, Merritt. And we don't see a lot of her lately. I mean, she does a lot of Canadian productions, but this is one of the few films I've seen her in. I think I saw her in a Hallmark movie once, but she's not a Hallmark actress, Josh. Don't jump on the bandwagon because I'm like with you. You like jump the gun before you leap. Okay, if I leaped and then looked, I'd be dead. It's like looking out my window. I have to if I jumped on my window in any emergency, I would have to look before I leap because I'm not Spider Man. Mhm. He's smoking a pipe. You still cannot beat me at the pipes. So Karen Guinness part British. So what? I'm not meeting her at Comic Con. I'm meeting Catherine. She's my young girl. She's not married. She's in her 20s, and this is her first time. And you never forget your first. And we also have Mercedes Bernardo, who I saw in WWE as Sasha Banks. She's just gorgeous. I can't wait to see her. I want to meet women, real women, not digital or blow up dolls or any of that. Real, living, breathing, clean, uh, legal women that that don't need green paper, green cards. Tractor. Wow, what amazing strength. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Haunted Mansion didn't do well, but it was only over 2 hours because it gave a backstory to most of the characters. While it was a little bit too long, it wasn't as long as like it wasn't 2.5 hours like Dead Reckoning. A farm, yeah. He was in a farm in the Hannah Montana movie that had a farm. Farmers have to work really hard to get food and crops prepared before the winter hits. Oh, look at the sheep. Yeah, and they're sheep. They're not screaming like those screaming goats in Thor: Love and Thunder. It's not going to be Love and Thunder, Josh. They're not going to cut 15 minutes of the movie for stupid laughs, nudity, or oh, there's no development. What development? These three girls, I already like them. Why do I need to have like? They're not going to have the. They're not going to be like join at the hip. I just want them to be good together. Just saying, it's not going to be forced like the Justice League theatrical cut. Momoa is such a huge man. I think it's like 6'4" or something like that. Let me check. And it's not a cameo. He has a decent enough. He's 44. Yeah, he had a messy divorce last year. Hang in there, man. The first year is always, yeah, he's 6'4". I was right on the button. It's a tall man. He's 2 inches taller than my brother. This feels like also an episode of The Walking Dead. With the look of it. He's wearing contacts just like in Aquaman. I'm not seeing Aquaman 2 because I know it's going to flop, and it's probably going to be 2.5 hours too because Amber Heard makes movies longer for no reason. And I want to avoid her like the plague. Sometimes I just want to see an actor I like, not actresses that are going to make me go limp. That's why Amber's not going to Comic Con because she'll get stoned. People know what she did. Comic Con, we don't welcome people that are criminals, especially criminals that try to get away with it. Oh, I raped somebody, so I'm going to get away with it, right? No, the long arm of the law will always get you, no matter where you are. I jaywalk, but I don't announce it to the world. Hey, sometimes in New York City, you gotta run. Hmm. And Lucas still is a good lead here. I think he works fine. Ooh, that sheep got ravaged. And it wasn't him. So they made lamb chops. That does look good. That does look good, though. I wouldn't kill an animal, though. I can't do it. It's not in my nature. Bugs. Oh, they don't stand a chance. Excuse me. Those flying little red moth things that I saw outside throughout the last 4 months. I've been destroying them. They say if you see them, don't give them an inch. Destroy them. They eat crops and plant life, and they're dangerous to humans. I was like, squish, 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 squish. They're very dangerous. They won't kill you, but they could kill plant life, and then that'll kill us. So I won't let those things stop my growth. That looks good, man. The Lone Ranger. I love that show. He doesn't want them to find out that it. Because like with the Flash, when a woman has to write it and she's not the best writer, you know that it was a problem. Because no guy wanted to write it, but when the comics were written right there in the or look at the TV show when it started, really strong writing. Then they put these lame duck villains like the Thinker and that Mirror Lady and Godspeed and all that. It was too many characters. Oh boy, so tired, man. I haven't been sleeping well. It's been getting cold, so now I got to use the hair. I got to use the heater. Mm-hmm. I know it's a small town. It's a farmhouse. It's not a major city like in American Werewolf in Paris or American Werewolf in London. You know why I can handle a convention, unlike some people, because I'm stable. I can go to a convention and I don't let things bother me. I put my earplugs in. I'm just fine. When I meet my girl, I take the earplugs out because I want to hear their voices, what they sound like in real life. Stop drinking. A Heineken. I don't drink booze. I want to keep my sanity. Hello, beautiful creature again. We're 30 minutes in. See, I didn't even feel this. The Nummy. Sometimes mandates be damned, because I'm like, you have to make the best movie with the limited time you had. Some films are only a minute long when films started in the 1800s, when the first feature film was made, or a short film. Short films weren't 90 minutes, gosh. Some short films are like a minute long, or to like 10, 20, 30 minutes, depending on the reel. The reason that they want to do everything so fast now is because film it's digital now. It's not like real film anymore. When I go see a film at the Draft House, or even at the at the film forum, it's the actual film. It's not digital. It's not Blu-ray. It's not a 4K. It's not a DVD. It's the real film. It's the real McCoy, because that's what I want to see on screen. I'm tired of everything being computerized, and I mean everything. Sometimes less is more. You don't need a $200 million budget for an animated film. Wish better hope that it makes $1 billion like Frozen, because if it does not, Disney is done. They're dead in the water next year. Shots. And yes, Merritt has something that a lot of these actresses have, Josh: sexual energy. In about the halfway point, she does him. There's a lot of people smoking pipes in this movie, because vaping wasn't a thing yet. In 2014, vaping wasn't a thing yet. But I don't like doing that either. I like breathing. I like being able to breathe out of my mouth and my nose. And they said he was the best part of Fast X. Gay Aquaman Joker. That's a cool combination. He would have been a great Joker, by the way. Instead of Jared Leto, he would have been a better Joker if he just shaved his face. I mean, yeah, sometimes the best Jokers are the ones you don't expect. Joker doesn't have to be played by a white guy. I mean, Cesar Romero wasn't white when he played the Joker in the 60s show. If Leto was really worthy of that Oscar, why does he keep making bad movies? Brie Larson has never done a bad movie in this decade. Fast X doesn't count. She's barely in that. I'm saying a bad movie where she's the lead. Where's the problem? Where's her Rise of Skywalker or Force Awakens? Where is it? Where's her Ophelia or Chaos Walking? Nothing? Okay. Because Shang-Chi doesn't count either. It's a cameo. Brie is a goddess among women. Her, Scarlett Johansson, and Natalie Portman. They are beyond just a regular, ordinary women. They're just beyond that. Mo's a good actor. I do like him. He made Aquaman fun. Without him, I think the movie would have been a major failure. My man and all that, yeah. And why did they call him a kid? Lucas Till was like 25 when he did this movie. He wasn't a kid. Yeah, because this was almost 10 years ago. So Till was like, how old is he? Like 31 now? He's like the same age as my sister. Lucas Till. Because in Hannah, he was like a kid, because that was 2009. He's 33 years old now. 10 years ago, it was like 23. I'll say. When this movie came out on DVD, it was probably like 24, 25. He's not a kid. They act like he's 16 in this movie. He's not. Hey, Momoa is one of the only successful actors in the DCEU that passed already. Him and Gal, and also who else? And of course Zachary Levi in the first Shazam. At least they had a hit. They're chasing him. And again, these wolves look a lot better than Twilight. They don't look like giant CGI dogs. That just looks ridiculous. Like, they look like dogs. Wolves don't look like dogs. Some of them look like huskies, but they mostly have sharper fangs. But they're not that big. Like in Twilight, it's ridiculous. They're shapeshifters. They're not werewolves. They're a bunch of tan, shirtless guys that turn into the wolves that look like CGI dogs. Again, this is how you do it. This American Werewolf in London, the Wolfman, the original, not the remake, or American Werewolf in Paris. Even though the CG is wonky, it's dated. Also, what else is a good? The Dog Soldiers, Wolf Cop. Those are how you do it. Even The Boy Who Cried Werewolf is better because it's not a bunch of bad CGI where it looks like a cartoon. They're going in the woods. Yeah, I've seen this one before. Mm-hmm. I thought that was. I was scared. I thought that was Toby Kebbell. No, he's not here. I think there's like one British guy in this movie, and he's not a main character. Mr. Cotter, good makeup effects again. For something that was not in theaters in the US, I'm like, wow, it's a lot better than some of the films I've seen in the theater this year or at home. Yeah, I don't want to see that. Hmm. The title of the movie. She knows. I think this is a flashback. The chat is kind of dead today. Only heterosexual guys showed up. I guess because it's a holiday, and I know why Evan's not here because he's celebrating Thanksgiving with his family. She was pretty. Chest hair. I don't like my chest hair. Mainly because it makes me feel like a hairy dog or a bear. That's why I say Rise of the Lycans is the best of the Underworld films because it's not long. It's 95 minutes. You didn't need 2 hours and 10 minutes to tell a story that could be done in half that time. It's just too long. The second one was a lot shorter, but it was still too long because Kate Beckinsale doesn't do it for me. Bintos, as soon as they start narrating, I'm like, somebody shoot me now, right in the foot. Because it just hurts me. Here's a flashback, yeah. It's done like a storybook though. It's not. Yikes. Luke, I Met Your Father moment. Another flashback. It's done in a really artsy way, though, without showing him as a kid, you know? Beautiful pregger chick. There's the baby. She looks like if Rose Byrne was more bearable. Yikes. Yeah, this movie has a dark side to it, but it's also fun, especially the third act. Wolves. He's feeding the animals. Again, not in this movie. Movie proves that you can make a movie look real. Yeah, and there's not a lot of CG in this film. A son. Yeah, that was a weird reading. Because Lucas Till in 2009, he was a kid. He was like a teeny bopper, but he's not a kid here. He looks like he's 30 in this movie. He's no like 23, but it's not a kid. I don't call a 23-year-old a kid. A 12-year-old is a kid. A 14-year-old is a kid. A 16-year-old is almost out of being a kid. But someone over 21 is not a kid. I don't call Nia Damison a kid. She's not. She's a gorgeous young woman, not a kid. She has beautiful dark hair and cat-like eyes. Now, I want to watch a movie that's entertaining, not a preachy, boring movie that's just beating me over the head with an agenda or forcing something on me. I don't need that. That's why I didn't see Barbie this year. Not because I'm not man enough. I just don't want to see something pandering. It's a movie that panders. That's why it made so much money. It didn't make money out of nowhere. It had a fan base of people that are going to support it regardless of what's in it, even though it's not for your little girls. Sorry, PG-13 doesn't mean it's for your kids. Frozen is for your kids, or Frozen 2, or any animated Barbie movie that's not, an adult parody. Cursed? Even the Toy Story sequels with Barbie, Toy Story 2 and 3. You saw they're running through a cornfield. And it's shot well. This director knows what he's doing. There's some slow-mo. This actress is way more attractive than Kristen Stewart. She's not going like Kristen Stewart does, and she doesn't look pale as a ghost. What a beautiful, beautiful creature. He's literally chasing her. but not to eat her. You know what I mean? Yeah, there it, here it comes. Here comes a little snuggle. It's how it's supposed to be. Procreation is between a man and a woman and nothing else. Nothing else. Except for animals that can change their sex in a single sex environment that are asexual. That's it. People are not asexual. That's stupid. You either have sex or you don't. There is no asexual. That's stupid. 45 minutes. We're halfway through the movie already. It is a good idea because she has that sexual energy. Watch this. Well, you're not going to see anything. I know. He's a lichen, a werewolf. Hmm. The hormones, the pheromones, something that's actually natural. Pheromones are not a drug, guys. Here it comes. She wants it and she's going to have it. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Yeah, you take that woman. Take her for all she's worth because she's worth a lot. See, look at that. Mm-hmm. Here it comes. She's on top of him. Yeah. That's right, baby. That's right. There it is. An ass shot. Mm-hmm. See, that's what you got to do, man. Damn. Even wolves have to mate too, like dogs and coyotes. It's a really hot scene and it's short. It's not 50 Shades of let me hit you with something. Let me put something in your mouth that you don't need. It's not needed, guys. Or let me tie you up. I don't like to be restrained, guys. You see these hands? They're free. There's a reason I don't have any handcuffs. Not even fake ones or rope or any of that. No, I don't like to be restrained. I like to be able to touch it with permission. Yeah. That's the problem with these actors now. They don't can't keep their hands to themselves. You have to have consent before you touch somebody, whether it's petting their hair or just touching their face. You got to have consent. None. What? Mm, worth it. Look, his hair's a mess. That won't happen with me. I'm gonna cut my hair before Comic Con. The bloodline. Hmm. Yeah, because some movies are just overly long, and they don't even when they're under 2 hours, so they still feel long. Because when I'm bored, I don't want to sit through something that's an hour and 50 minutes either. Like a comedy doesn't need to be an hour and 50 minutes. I have two of them that I bought this past month that I'm going to show that are a little bit too long, but we'll get to that on when I get to my Comic Con haul when I came home. When I come home from Comic Con, I'm going to show you guys everything. Gotta take some aspirin. My arms hurt. Don't worry. This is Bayer. It's not an illegal drug. It's over the counter. Because my arms are sore. It's low dose aspirin. I'm not a drug addict. I promise. It's chewable too. Angela Larson, give her Larson. Hey, Electric Dino, what's up? Nice commentary on the Wolves. Thanks, man. It's a movie you should check out. It's on Tubi, so you can watch it for free online. You won't have to look hard and far to find this movie to stream. I recommend it at least once, especially for the Halloween season. It's not as bad as critics think it is. I'm like, yeah, is it cliche? Yeah. But compared to Twilight, this is a masterpiece. Blue, 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 blue. Yeah. You know, you're a woman. Women don't have sideburns. They have hair here, but they're not sideburns. Only men have sideburns on their face. Yeah, some of his dialogue is a little stilted, but it's not as bad as other actors I've seen this year. It's better than the Twilight movies. I pretty much agree with you on that. Yeah, it's short and it has a lot of gore. There's barely any gore in Twilight. Kristen Stewart has to cut herself or someone bites her, so there's some blood. And I'm like, yeah, you're cheating. You have to wait till near the end of the movie to see that. Again, Jason Momoa, Lucas Till is not a kid in this movie. He's not a kid. When he says that in Fast X, it makes sense because that's one of the few scenes that makes sense because he says, "I got my eyes on this guy and the kid," and yeah, because it's Dom's son and he's like 10 years old, so he is a kid. But John Cena is not a kid; he's in his 40s. Again, he's not a kid. I called him a kid. Yeah, he's younger than you, but he's not a kid. That's like me calling Katha Newton a kid. She's not a kid. She's younger than me, but she's not 12. She's 26, and she's gorgeous. I can't wait to see her in 5 days. I'm gonna just my face is gonna glow like a glowworm. Lucinda. It's a nice name. Just like Blade. Remember when she gave birth to Blade before she died? Just, ooh, so dark. Don't do it, guys. Don't take your own life. It's not worth it. No matter what, don't do it. Life is a gift, and you never throw a gift away, especially a gift that's precious. That's why when I got COVID, I didn't give up. I'm like, no, I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to beat this thing. And I did, thanks to the vaccine and my strong immune system and also my ingenuity. I didn't want to get everybody else sick. Not to mention that this is better than Beauty and the Beast. Oh, hell yeah, it is, Electric Dino, because unlike Beauty and the Beast, it doesn't drag with flashbacks that go on way too long, added songs, added CGI, and giving character development to characters that were barely in the first movie, in the animated version. The effects are better. They look like werewolves. In Beauty and the Beast, he looks like a CGI lion or something. It's awful. Here's another action scene. Ooh, what a punch, man. He knocked his tooth out. It's a good scene. Like I said, not perfect, but very entertaining. If you're looking for something under 2 hours to see in Halloween season, I recommend this. It is not as bad as critics say it is. Jason Momoa is much worse than this. Again, he's not a kid. Even when I first saw this in the summer, I'm like, Lucas Till is not a kid in this movie. He's a man. He's not a kid. unless he's a goat, which is a young goat is called a kid or kids. Yeah, I could watch it to see how underrated it is. It is underrated. She's so beautiful, man. How old is Merritt? I think she's like 37 or something like that. It's a gorgeous woman. I treat every woman like a queen when I meet them at Comic Con. Every single one of them. Merritt, 33. Yeah, so she's close to my age. Absolutely gorgeous, man. Yeah, she's done some Hallmark stuff, but this is one of her really violent films. She's done a number of holiday films for Hallmark and Great American Family, but yeah, I like that she did this, and she did TV shows like The Royals and Ravenswood and The Now, etc. She's got a big resume. It's good to see her in something light when I'm not seeing all this gore. Yeah, there's some stuff she's done that I'm not a fan of, but again, we all have to work. This is a good scene. Next films are uh, everyone is doing great, a TV series that came out a couple years ago, and Twas the Text Before Christmas, which is coming out in I think November, expected this year. Addie and Nana develop a close friendship after an accidental text message. Addie goes to visit Nana, where she meets Nana's only son, James. James and Addie start to view each other differently after years of spending holidays together. Cool. And it's with a man and a woman, right? Yeah. She cut her hair in that movie. Hmm. This is why I don't like when big name actors have to do like Pure Flix movies or something like that. It's not for me, guys. It's just not. I don't find movies like that entertaining. They're just boring. Here's a flashback. Yeah, he's having a flashback that his life is flashing before his eyes. Have you seen the movie Jennifer's Body? No. Megan Fox doesn't do it for me either. Especially being in Expendables 4. Yeah, that was a big mistake. You went from Ronda Rousey, who's actually a fighter, not a good actress, but a fighter, to a model that can't act. Ooh! Why did you have to censor that? This is not a kids' movie. Yeah, he does suffer in this movie too. Not a he's not a Gary Stu. He's a male character that suffers, that goes through pain and an emotional arc, something the hobo's never been through. We've never seen an emotional arc. And no, crying for Han Solo for 5 minutes doesn't count at the end of Force Awakens. That does not count. Gee, she looked like he was in a car accident. It looks like Invincible at the first time Invincible got beat up and was in the hospital. I'm like, damn, that was too much. It's a lot. That first season was very heavy on the emotion, Josh. Like every time Invincible looked like he couldn't move, it was a lot. For a cartoon, it took a lot of risks. It's more violent than any episode of Batman the Animated Series. I was like, wow, they can make cartoons for adults that's not porn. I'm like, yeah, that sign me up for that. It's really, really dark. Like, yeah, but it works because I care about Invincible. I care about his father, Omni Man, even though he's a killer. There's got to be a reason for that. I love Adam Eve. Samantha Eve Wilkins. She's absolutely gorgeous. That pink symbol on her chest and the pink shorts, that does it for me. As a man, that excites me. If I see somebody at Comic Con dressed up like that, I gotta take a picture with her. I'll ask first because I love Adam Eve. So good. Again, I know. She does look like Olivia Wilde, like a Canadian Olivia Wilde. Because you see her in something like this, and then you see the Hallmark movie, like it's like night and day. Because here there's all this gore and violence and blood, and then you see her being something light and fluffy where she's kissing a man, and is it's very gentle, and that's fine with me. I don't want to see a romance that's completely messed up or like abusive or toxic. No, that's not for me. The fall has been toxic enough already with the weather. It went from 70 to like 60 and cold and raining and just really humid. It's been weird. It's been a weird year. We're almost done. We're an hour in, an hour and 1 minute. It's intense. It's a Beauty and the Beast story without the downbeat ending of the original. Hmm. They don't heal because I guess they don't have a healing factor like Deadpool or Logan. I got to do Logan, but I'll do that in November. It's not a horror movie, even though there's a lot of gore in it. I got to see the movie again. I just hear the commentary from James Mangold first. This movie has about the violence level of a Logan or Deadpool. The soundtrack is pretty good for little music they play in the film because it's not a James Gunn movie. You're not going to hear a song every 5 minutes. Yeah, it's an explosive. It's like gunpowder. This song, I'm going to play it after Kathleen Kennedy is no longer, alive. Trust me, because she's ruined enough franchises as it is. She's never going to ruin another one. With Marvel, she's never going to ruin it. If she was producing the Marvels, this movie would be a 90-minute feminist piece, and we don't need that. They're three females. I get it. Okay? They're females with powers that are going to switch, like Fantastic Four, The Rise of Silver Surfer, another movie that was 90 minutes. The score in this movie was wonderful. It's pretty good. But I'm saying the soundtrack. There's only a few songs in it, but you remember them at least. It's not distracting like a CW show. I gotta lie down. Yeah, yeah. When this is over, I'll get up. Hmm. She is so young and so fresh and so clean. See, I could do that, Josh. No one's gonna cancel me for being heterosexual. It's the actions you take that are gonna be your problem, not the things that you say most of the time, unless you say something really, really gross or like offensive. But I'm not. It's not offensive to do what I do. I'm heterosexual and I express myself. Freedom of expression. That will be me all over Comic Con. If I see a beautiful chick that I can ask her, can I take a picture with her? I'm like, yeah. She says no, I can walk away. There's hundreds of thousands of people going to Comic Con on Saturday, so I won't be here all day. I will not be doing a podcast until I get home. I'll do the Comic-Con podcast. I'll set that up. I'll probably set it up at like 8 o'clock or something like that. Kidnapping, of course. This is really well shot. See, the score is good. Yeah, the him jumping like Wonder Woman in the 70s show. Yeah, that kind of looks weird, but yeah, ransom note. There we go. You're cordially invited to the mating of Harry Slaughter and Angelina. And this movie's not extremely cringe. Like the fourth Crow movie was hurting me. I was like, this is awful. It's trying to be campy, but it doesn't have the good writing and good effects and lead actor that can get me through it, because Eddie Furlong was horrible and miscast as the Crow. He has a decent look for the Crow, but he just doesn't. He's not scary. Brandon Lee was scary in the original, and even more Eric more Mabius, yeah, not Morbius. He was fine too for a different take on the Crow, but him and Vincent Perez were terrible as the Crow. At least Jason Momoa is having fun here. Again, he's not a kid. I said, drinking game. Every time he says the word kid, take a shot. You're going to be plastered with by the end of this movie. He's not a kid. The kids in Spy Kids are kids. The kids in Shorts and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. That makes sense. Here, that he's like almost 25 years old and he's a kid. Momoa he commits, man. When he's playing a villain, he really commits. That's why Fast X, he was the best part of it. Give me more of that actor over any more Bintos, because I'm just tired of them. They're in everything. I just had to suffer through them in Secret Invasion. Yeah. Loki, I like season 2. I think it's off to a really good start. Kiyu Kwan was hilarious. I'll get to that. And Hiddleston just commits, man, no matter what he's doing, even if he's just screaming for 20 minutes. Look at that beautiful hair. She is an angel. Because I've seen so many films this year that look like a digital effect, like I'm watching a video game cutscene. That was great in Mario. That was great in Detective Pikachu. That was great in the Sonic movies. It was even good in the first Mortal Kombat movie. But when a superhero movie looks like a cutscene, it's weird. It's strange. Good effects in this movie, I must say. Yeah, take that. And he's a villain that's fun. He's not mustache twirling. He's not over the top for no reason. Ugh, that's gross. Don't do that. Yeah, see, bloody violence. Yeah, definitely. It is bloody, and it's not CGI gore like a lot of movies. Yep. Again, that was weird, but again, wolves and dogs lick, and coyotes and. Her name is Angelina, not Angel, but they did the same thing to because there's indigenous people in Cowboys and Aliens, but I'm not going to see that today. It's too long. If this was a 2023 movie, then this would have been afraid to show lots of blood, and it would have been 2 hours long, like Twilight or like the Mortal Instruments. Again, boy, that's different. At least it's not a kid. He is a boy, but he's not a kid. Sonic is a kid. He's not voiced by a kid, but in the Sonic movies, he's just a kid. That's right. Here we go. The third act final battle. This is awesome. It's shot at night, but you can see what's going on. That Resident Evil movie was so bad, I couldn't see what was going on. Half the time, every 2 seconds, there's a jump cut. It's awful. It's some of the worst editing I've seen in a non-Olivia Megaton movie. Yeah, it's awful. Paul W.S. Anderson, fire that editor. Never use him again, please. I'm begging you. Monster Hunter wasn't good, but at least I could see the action. It wasn't shaking the camera every 2 seconds. It's awful. Some of the worst cinematography you could ever. That's why that you could ever see. This is why when when I see stuff like Dune, that Denis Villeneuve or Villeneuve, whatever, he does that movie, and I'm like, I can see what's going on. It's beautifully shot. Do it, girl. And even the werewolf lady, the Miss what do you call it? A female werewolf? A she wolf? Yeah. She looks great. The makeup looks really good. This is an underrated gem. I was like, oh great, this is gonna be some asylum looking crap movie. It's not. It's actually way better. Hmm. Running through a field scene. I saw that in the Lost World. It was also in the Meg 2, where when the dinosaurs are going through the grass. That was pretty fun. The movie's a lot of fun. I want to do a podcast for that one day. Hell yeah, that was a good line. Awesome. He's blowing them up. Wow. That was awesome. Gotcha. You ever heard of a silver bullet? Yeah. Because movies nowadays, they want to play it too safe and not even show blood. No Way Home had a lot of blood in it for a PG-13. It was. Yep, you blew it up, but you had to. Greater good. Needs of the many, you know? We're not. That was cool. He jumped out of the barn in flames. Here we go. Yes, sir. What about it? Man, what a power bomb. Really good fight scene. And look, I can see it. And it's at night. It's vicious, man. Take that, X-Men Origins Wolverine. Yep, he bit him. Pretty brutal, man. It doesn't hold back. Never hold back. This is not a kid's movie. Again, not a kid. Do it. That's awesome. That's great. It's not a sissy movie. It's a very manly horror film. That's right, baby. Blow him up. It's a good roar. You turn back human. Hmm. I get. There's the guy with the cowboy hat again. The one in the bar. Yep. Have you seen the YouTuber named Fabio? Yeah, I have, but I don't. I don't acknowledge him because he doesn't acknowledge me, him or his followers. Sorry, I don't need some schlub of guys on YouTube to tell me what movie is good and what movie is bad. I'll make the decision. That's why I've been on YouTube for over a decade now, over 10 years, 11 years in next year. Hmm. You should have said that. Yeah, you're an idiot, One Eye Jack. Yeah, exactly. The both of yous. Evening, actually. It, now he dies. Yep, gotta go shoot Aquaman in a few years. This villain, this Joe is the main villain, like at the end, but because he's a mustache twirler, literally, because he has good makeup on him too. So gotcha. Never underestimate never underestimate the power of the gun. And I guarantee you, Killers of the Flower Moon is going to be an hour longer than this, like an hour and change longer than this. Why? Because Scorsese likes to pad out a running time. He thinks a movie needs to be 3 hours to be art. No, Mario is art and it's animated and it's under 2 hours. So, that argument is squashed. Less is more. Don't make don't make Madam Web 2.5 hours because no one wants to see Dakota Johnson that long. Maybe for like an hour and 20 minutes, but not 2.5 hours. He's a human being. I know. I've seen it. Again, he's not a kid. He blows them up. Bye-bye now. You're going to shoot like a bottle rocket. You deserve this. That effect looked okay, not great, but the makeup is great. Yep, here it comes. Time to ignite, buddy. Yes, that's kind of funny. He didn't see it coming. He got Looney Tunes to death. He's like, woo! That's great. And this is not a comedy. It's more of a serious horror thriller. But it's a good one. It's fun, guys. Watch it for yourselves. Don't listen to these dumb critics. Critics are always going to complain, like the masses that go to a theater and like, I'm going to sit through a 3-hour movie and I'm going to throw a hissy fit the whole time. That's not why I go to the theater, guys. I want to show adulation to the work that these hardworking people that are not SAG writers and actors go through to get that on the big screen. That's why I go to the theater, not for agendas. See, the house is completely totaled, man. Wow. Burnt to the ground. Pretty much, partner, yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't worry, we'll see Merritt again. You saw a scroll. It's a family tree. And also, this is not setting up any sequels. It's a one and done, a self-contained story. I missed that. That's why movies are failing now, because they want to set up the next 14 movies instead of one movie at a time, guys. It's a good hug at the end. Doesn't make me tear-eyed because, well, I haven't hugged my uncle like that in a couple of months. So there's the soundtrack again. Short, see, an hour and 20 some minutes, not 3 hours. You don't have to pad the running time. See ya, Lucas. Still, Hollywood better do reboots of this. No, don't. Let it be self-contained. Don't do any sequels. Bye, drunk lady. I'll be watching you. That's it. See, an hour and 25 minutes. That was Wolves. David Hayter. I think the guy that did Metal Gear, right? Yeah. and done. It's a very underrated movie, and it definitely holds up. Even almost 10 years later, it's still better than any Twilight movie that we're ever going to get, or not Teen Wolf, but I haven't seen that. I can't say much about that, but it's good for what it is, and I definitely would recommend it. If you've never seen it, watch it at least once, or buy the DVD. There, you can find it at any Dollar Tree if you live in a major city or a small town that has a Dollar Tree. They have it, and it's worth the $1.36 because that's how much it costs now. Thanks for watching, guys. Again, very underrated, worth your time. Good cast and good effects. Pretty decent story. Anyway, thanks for watching. All of you, the two of you that did, acknowledge me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.